Hello, welcome to Spilling the IT. It's a special edition with Paul Burke, Adam Burke. We're talking SLAs and contracts. Adam, how you doing?
Good, Paul. How's it going?
Good. Hey, can we talk about your awesome setup for a second?
Sure. Yeah.
Look at this thing. Look at you.
What
You got the
what do you got?
Quest
What do you think?
Quest logo. Love it. You-
It's 3D. It's not just a logo, Paul. It's an experience. All right. It's
it's really coming at you.
it's it comes out of the wall. It's got depth. It's
hmm
fantastic. I'm pretty excited about it. Installed it myself. Barbara Clyde, our expert director of marketing, got it for me. Actually, one of our partners that we work with a lot, I saw a cutout on their wall and I was like, that's cool. I like that. I'm on Zoom calls all the time. I want some Quest logos floating out there.
I
Not
love
the
it.
weird ones where you move your head and it like
Oh, it's kind of
pixelates.
like, yeah.
Yeah, the
No,
Zoom backgrounds. No, you can't have that. You
Yeah,
gotta,
that is stationary, Adam. It shows power because it's
yes.
not moving. It's not going anywhere.
Yep,
Quest,
yep.
we're not going anywhere. What a powerful statement.
I like it. Yeah, yeah.
Um, my you know what? I should put that would be Adam. You gave me ideas. Thank you very much.
We could leave that out with the purple hair and stuff. We can leave the branding off your screen. We're good for that screen.
it'll just blend into the background, Adam. Just
Yeah.
one more piece of color in my yeah, very colorful background. So,
Hey, so for those who didn't know, we didn't have a show last week,
mhm.
and I was trying to figure out how to play Alanis Morissette "Jagged Little Pill" for our bumper music. Something on there. But for those who don't know, how's 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 Sprinkles doing?
Her name is Cookie, Adam.
Oh,
My
okay. Sorry,
cat's
sorry.
name is Cookie. I have no
Okay,
sprinkles. I have a
okay,
shadow and I have a cookie.
okay, okay.
Cookie's great. Hey guys, just if if you don't understand the Jagged Little Pill reference, here is a tip from me if you have a cat. Hide your Advil because Advil is very, very toxic to a cat and it will shut down kidneys. But Cookie is fine. She chewed on a couple Advil cold and sinus, and cold and sinus even worse than regular Advil. So, uh, but she's fine. She's okay. I have the vet bill to prove it, and which is great. Which is great. I had a nice return this year, and I was like, "How am I going to spend this money?" And I found a way very quickly.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the silver lining. Got a way to you know, pay for some of those kids' vet school. I'm sure there's some nice interns taking care of the cat overnight, and you paid their tuition, man. It's all going. It's good. I'm
Oh,
glad. I'm glad Cookie's okay.
can I give another tip? Just a tip for business owners out there. Uh, don't call customers at 5:30 in the morning to give them good news, unless they expect to call at 5:30 in the morning. Because our vet called us at 5:30 to terrify me as I was running to get the phone, only to let me know, hey, just letting you know, Cookie's doing great. She's really loving her time here, and a full recovery looks imminent. Well, I'll tell you what's not imminent. Me going back to sleep because my heart's beating now. Anyways.
Yeah, that's good. That's timing. Timing is everything, and that's well, it's a big piece of it. So
Mhm.
good FYI on the hey, everything's gonna be fine call. Maybe a 9 a.m. call. Maybe a 9 a.m. call.
Adam, speaking about timing, connection, contracts, SLAs, we got there. We got back there.
Nice segue. Very good. Solid, solid
Smooth.
segue.
hmm
Professional. Yep.
hmm
Yep.
So you recently wrote a piece on the Quest website and
hmm
about SLAs, and I think that's an awesome thing to talk about. I think it affects so many people. I think it's a wonderful idea. So yeah, let's dive into SNLs, SLAs, and contracts. And by the way, if you don't know what SLA means, it means service level agreement. So there you go.
Very cool. Yeah. No, so I just, I thought it would be a good topic to cover, service level agreements. It's not sexy. It's not a fun topic that everyone likes to talk through, but it does dictate a lot of, um, rules of the road and how people are going to engage with partners and with their service providers and what's truly being committed. We, sometimes joke that there's the PowerPoint, there's the sales pitch, and then there's the real nuts and bolts of what a service actually is. And that's where the rubber meets the road as far as what you're actually contracting for. Early on in our managed services days, we met a customer, long-term customer, who'd been buying product from us, and they were going to one of the large hosting providers out there. It's a name everyone knows, and they had I think it was like about a $25,000 a month infrastructure as a service agreement. They had kind of historically been, they had their own data center, they had their own space. We had been selling them, I think we sold them their Cisco and their VMware, and they had some other partners who were helping them out with other things as well. Well, the CIO or the CEO, was sitting down with us and talking to us and showed us kind of the agreement. And we just asked the simple question, well, hey, where in that contract, in that service level agreement, in that scope of work, where in those terms right there does it show getting you from where you are today on premise to the hosting instance, right? So you signed a contract, you committed to $30,000 a month. That's great. It's like walking out of, when you buy a new car or you buy a car, everyone says congratulations on the way out of the dealership. It's kind of a weird feeling because it's like, hey, congratulations, you just gave us a bunch of money. So congratulations, sir. You you signed this 3-year agreement or 5-year agreement, whatever it is. How are you going to get what you have here over there and start using that? Well, the CEO of a company, it was a couple $100 million company, comes back and isn't it in here? I don't know how much they paid for lawyers to go through this, but simply said, no, it wasn't. It's not there. Like you're just going to start paying for this infrastructure in about 2 months, and there's no plan to get from point A to point B. So that's an example. Tim likes to talk through when he's helping people understand contracts and cloud and SaaS and on-prem versus off-prem and private versus public and all that kind of stuff. Those words, at least right now, we're still a country that respects the rule of law. Just kidding. But those words matter, and the contracts and the terms matter. And when you're setting up a service level agreement, when you're working on those types of agreements, it matters what the scope is, what the services are, and how they're all put together.
So I was thinking today, do you want to go through kind of some of the biggest key parts that could definitely affect your business or SLA? Because this blog post you made, I think, is really fantastic. It has a lot of like, hey, here are the 5 parts, and here are the things that you need to really be aware of. Do you kind of want to go through those one by one?
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely. So a couple big parts. You want to understand what's included, right? So it sounds simple, but like the example we just gave through is like, hey, what's included, and what is the provider actually going to provide under this contract? Are they going to provide a certain software? Are they going to provide a certain infrastructure? Are they going to provide network connectivity? And then how are you going to measure success? Everyone wants to get to that business outcome conversation. What are we doing, and why are we doing it? Like, sometimes it's an awkward question to ask on a call, but we kind of love throwing the hand grenade in the room every once in a while. Like, why are we on this call? What are we talking about? That service is why are you what are you gonna get from that provider? So what's included? Are backups included? Are they monitoring the network? Are they managing the network components? If something happens, who's responding to it? How's that getting addressed? All that type of stuff needs to be included in the what's included section. And what's really important is like uptime, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I talk about it a little bit in the post. Hey, what is the percent uptime? There's people always talk about 5 nines. Okay, well, what does 5 nines really equate to? Well, 5 nines, if someone ever says to you in a sales process, hey, yeah, no, we have 5 nines of uptime availability. Okay, well, that means you have about 0.86 seconds of downtime per day, and you can be down for 5.25 minutes per year. So do you really have 5 nines? That is it in the contract, or is it just something that you kind of say out there on the marketing spiel? So and 5 nines means 99.999 uptime.
Literally
So point
5 nines.
0.0001% of the time you can be down, right? So for anybody who's been in the Amazon AWS world or the Microsoft Office 365 or Azure or any of the large hosting providers out there, you've experienced downtime. If you want to see who's down today, go to what is it? Downtracker.com. Is that the one we check out every once in a while? Is it down?
I think so. I think there's another one like are you down.com, or I don't know. There's quite a few out there, so
that might be a different website. But yeah.
I don't know. Don't go to these websites. We'll check. We'll check for you. Don't trust.
We'll put it in the comments below before. Yeah, I think it's downdetector.com. Are you down? Different context. That's a different avenue.
Now I'm looking.
Right,
I'm not checking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Downdetector.com. Real-time overview of issues and outages. Boom. We'll put it in the comments. We will, so you can find it. There you go.
There you go. That's kind of fun to see. Like, hey, I'm depending where you are in the region, in the world, you can see, folks might be having some network issues at any given day of the week. The internet service providers, SaaS providers, everything is connected, and it's kind of it's an ongoing. It's evolving out there all the time. So good to know. Good to know what that is, what's included, and what's not included. And then also just simple description of what's included. And sometimes, so at least for at Quest, when we onboard a new managed services customer, we walk through the SLA and the service level agreements and the contract as part of the kickoff. And we do that because we really want everyone to understand the two things that are really, really critical to understand: what's included and what's not included, right? So we put in pretty bold font as far as what's in the services description and then what's not included. And those are, as a sales rep, sometimes that can be an awkward kind of concept, but it really does bring any issues to the forefront. That no, hey, I thought that was included, or I assumed that was part of the service, or us as a sales rep, or one of my guys or people as a rep, hey, I assumed they knew that the guacamole was extra. Well, guacamole is extra. You got to maybe have that conversation, and maybe you don't want to have that conversation, but you got to talk about, hey, that we can certainly do that, but we might need to change the scope of services here and recalculate the monthly recurring charge.
Guacamole is extra, and if you're at Chipotle, if you say, "Can I have a little more?" they usually will give you a little bit more for no extra charge.
Will they?
Yeah, they're trained to do that.
Oh, bless their heart.
If you say, "Hey, a little bit more." Also, real quick, Adam, if I can just go back and make myself not look stupid, is it downrightnow.com is a thing. So I knew I was close.
Okay.
I was close.
Okay.
Anyways.
Is it down right now? Perfect.
Is it downrightnow.com? Anyways.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right.
And can I ask one quick question, Adam? You said 5 nines. Is 5 nines kind of like the industry standard? Because you kept referring to it. So is that kind of like the go-to number that's typically used? Or can people get less? Can they get more than 5 nines? Can they get 4 nines or 3 nines? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, all the way from 90% all the way up to, some people, this is always funny. Some people say we have 100% uptime. And here's our downtime service credits.
Doesn't work out.
Play that one out for me. Play that one out for me. We have 100% uptime. You're on a sales call. I work with a lot of sales partners who are out there. They're brokers. They broker services. They're like, yeah, well, Charlie over there, they got 100% uptime. I'm like, oh, they do. Okay, cool. Well, let's see their contract, and it has like service credits. So riddle me that, Batman. How does that one work? So The nines, the 1 9 to 5 9s to 6 9s, it's good because it kind of basically says, okay, how much risk as a provider are you going to take on versus when things go wrong, credit things back, and that's all negotiated, and it's all part of the dance of basically evaluating how much risk the partner wants to take versus the customer versus the person providing the service. But yeah, no, it's 90% all the way through 99.99999%, and some people even put out their 100% uptime caveat with service credits.
Also,
So
not one of the more popular Batman episodes where the Riddler submits an SLA contract to Batman.
that was a
One of the
great
lesser.
episode. It was a fantastic. Yep,
What a really gripping episode.
it wasn't quite the blockbuster, but
Nope.
I think Ben Affleck's auditioning for that role. So the five things that we always, at least in the post that we're kind of talking about, is indemnification. That's a big one, because service level agreements, contracts are really about identifying risk, and they're really about supporting IT operations is not something to be taken lightly, right? It's you're supporting a key component of what that business is operating on. It could be their communications platform, it could be their network, it could be their security services, it could be a key application that they use to basically earn a living, right? You have organizations out there right now who are 100% built in the cloud, right? So we just started using a new digital payments service that is really, really cool. It allows us to engage and contract, very, very quickly, but it's software based, and it's got hooks into our bank and into our service provider team, and now we can execute a contract, invoice for retainer services and get engaged ASAP. And that stuff has to work, right? So, you have to get that contract back in order to make sure all parties understand what's going on, and you have to transact that business in order to make sure that there's funds in there to support the engineers who are getting engaged rapidly. It's critical. I mean, that's been millions of dollars in revenue because we're able to execute quickly, and that's built on software that has service level agreements tied around it. So, that's kind of cool. But the indemnification is basically, it's a clause that protects basically your clients and from third party litigation, right? So if for some reason that doesn't work or something happens, basically, we do live in a litigious society, so a lot of people do like to sue. It basically indemnifies the parties involved from third party lawsuits, right? So it's a way to protect you as the consumer of the service and the provider from lawyers out there who are looking for an easy mark on a lawsuit. So definitely want to focus on that indemnification clause.
Nice. So number one, indemnification. Adam, what about metrics? Number two.
Yeah, so metrics is really kind of, we talked about it a lot on the 5 9s and the uptime requirements and things like that, and then also identifying what a successful service looks like, right? So write out what the expectations are in what's expected for your client or for your partner, in what the provider is going to be providing. So it should be things like uptime. It should be things like data availability. It should be things like if you're doing like throughput on network services or SD-WAN or anything like that. Like what's my upload and download? What are my speeds? How readily available is my data? How fast are the applications accessible? How fast can I add new people? All those types of things. How fast, when I open up a support ticket, am I going to receive a response? Right, that's a big one. Everyone hates to basically
wait,
send in a support ticket and then feel like it's just kind of gone to a black hole. That's the worst feeling. We all hate that. I hate that as a consumer. IT is no different. You don't want to call Costco or someone and you're stuck on hold forever. No one likes that. So a lot of people have invested in making sure you get responded to. And IT support contracts are no different. You want to make sure that someone knows you're having trouble, and that trouble is at least getting acknowledged, if not addressed. At least it's acknowledged. Hey, we hear you. We see what you're saying. We're looking into it. That's huge.
Nice too. So we're metrics. So
Mhm.
disaster number three, disaster recovery testing or failover. If you want to talk about that.
Yeah, so this is a fun one. One of my first managed services agreements that I helped with back in 2010 when I first came on
Ooh,
board
a walk down
in
memory
Quest.
lane.
Walk down memory lane, old school, going back, going back. Um, it was a good learning experience because we worked through. I think we were providing firewall management and some monitoring services, and and the client had an expectation that because we were providing firewall monitoring and management and some other alerting on their servers, right? We were watching some of their server infrastructure.
Mhm.
There was an expectation, well, you guys are also backing up all my servers, right? And that was said, I think it was either during the onboarding or recently after the onboarding. And it was a bit of a head scratcher, but it was important because that customer assumed that because we were watching their servers and we were managing their firewalls, that we were backing up their server infrastructure
Mhm.
into an alternate DR location. Certainly something we can do, absolutely something we'd love to help them out with, and we did end up helping them out with it, but that wasn't something that was included in the service offering. And a lot of people, I was on a call just a month ago with an organization that has all of their data in Microsoft Office 365, OneDrive, SharePoint Online, and Azure services. All of it
Mhm.
it lives there. And we were on a call with one of their consultants that they had hired, and our team and theirs, and kind of threw out there to them, hey, are you guys doing anything to back that up outside of the Microsoft environment?
Mhm.
And their consultants were like, no, 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 Microsoft has it covered. And I'm like, okay, cool. Is that in your contract? Is it in your agreement? Did Microsoft take on responsibility for saying we're going to provide you this data in the event this set of data gets corrupted? Now I knew the answer. Um, I knew the answer was no, but that consultant and the partner kind of were like, no, yeah, no, it's 100% covered. I didn't say anything because there wasn't the time to throw anybody under the bus and nuke a relationship. But
Mhm.
after that conversation, definitely followed up with that partner and that consultant, saying, hey guys, you might really want to take a look at those SLAs. Um, they may have some backup capabilities, but you wouldn't want to risk your entire enterprise thinking you have better lawyers than Microsoft, because you
Mhm.
don't. I guarantee you don't. Those SLAs are written in a way that it's a great service. It's amazing capabilities. They're continuing to lead forward in availability and all sorts of great stuff. But you have to watch your own data. You have to watch your own application. You have to make sure that in the event something goes wrong, you're covered. So don't assume just because you're with one of the largest companies in the world that they're going to necessarily take care of your data and your applications. They're not. It's just not part of their skill sets, not part of what they're interested in doing. So
Good to know.
really read those service level agreements and see, hey, is someone managing my disaster recovery and business continuity um, here, right? Is it in here?
I just had an idea, Adam. What we should do, I'm just throwing this out there. We should create
Yeah.
a list of questions and just post that on our questsys.com website of like, hey, even if you don't use us, these are all the questions that you might want to ask because I think when I'm listening to you, so many people don't even know what to ask. You know what I mean? Like they don't
hmm
even sometimes they assume, but sometimes they just don't even know what to ask to get the answers to be concerned.
Yeah, and it's not that anyone's trying to pull a fast one on anybody. It's
No.
just the nature of the business. There's organizations that are trying to scale rapidly,
Hmm.
right? And there's trying to organizations that are, I mean, hyperscalers are called hyperscalers for a reason. They have millions and thousands of petabytes of information and applications and data centers all over the place, and they're trying to enable enterprises to host and consume, and they're doing all sorts of cool stuff, but
Hmm.
as far as like, worrying about one company's data versus the entire platform operating, hey, they're just not gonna do that. It can't happen, right? They're not going to take on that liability. So yeah, uh, understanding your risks and then working with what you got is important. And SLAs are going to tell you what you really have. The contract's going to
Yeah.
tell you where you're really covered and where you're not.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
yeah.
Governments in compliance, number 4.
So we're seeing more and more of this all the time, especially in the government contractor space. We do a lot in the SLED market, higher education, uh, access to data, rights to personal information. Organizations, having everyone's talking about vaccines right now and vaccine passports and HIPAA compliance and all that kind of stuff. You got to be really, really careful with how you're storing the data and the compliance level of the organizations you're working with. Now, there's some shenanigans going on here too, right? So we've talked about this before, Paul. There's two ways to play King of the Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
One is you compete and you fight and you hustle and you do a great job and you provide a service and you climb the mountain and you help people achieve what they're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
The other way is, those who maybe have already built out massive organizations and have access to lawyers and consultants and all sorts of stuff. Maybe they're fans of regulation because it makes it tougher for organizations to climb their way up. So like you have organizations out there who here's a way that it's classic if people want to kill a deal with a managed service provider. This will kill a deal. And a lot of consultants know this. So I'm not saying anything out of school here, but if you want to kill a deal, ask the provider, hey, you guys, is this specific service FedRAMP?
Is this
That'll
specific service FedRAMP?
is this specific service FedRAMP compliant?
Mm.
Is it certified as a FedRAMP solution?
Mm.
Now, the reason that kills a lot of deals is because FedRAMP is a framework that in order for it to be FedRAMP certified and go through that whole process, you have to be nominated and then brought through by a supporting agency. So
Okay.
Department of Energy, Department of Department of Defense, any of those, Department of the Interior, any of those federal agencies have to sponsor and help pull you through that process. Now, there is Microsoft GovCloud, there is, AWS has a government organization, but the application itself that rides on that infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a good one. There's a data center that we operate out of that's FedRAMP compliant, FedRAMP certified. Now, you can host an application within that data center that is very, very secure and matches all the criteria, or you can host garbage. Just because you're in a FedRAMP compliant facility or even in subscribing to a FedRAMP compliant provider doesn't mean that the application you're managing and hosting is FedRAMPed, right? So there's games people play with certification, but we know a lot of them. A lot of them are based on NIST, and there's awesome frameworks out there that help people bolt on security measures that make sure they're not going to do anything stupid with other people's data. But you got to make sure you're not gamifying that. You're not using that to hold other providers out of the market. Versus no, we're really trying to help organizations put a framework together to protect, Department of Defense's, intellectual property, national security, all that good stuff. There's tons of shenanigans going on in that world. But if you're an ITAR compliant shop, FISMA, if you have to have certain types of compliance for federal services or health high trust or health information for patient data and all that kind of stuff, make sure that those terms are in the agreement. We work with healthcare all the time, so we have to sign what's called BAAs, right? So it's an associate agreement that we're going to be doing business with a healthcare provider, and that we're going to have certain frameworks and controls in place to respect access to that potentially regulated data, and make sure that all of our compliance is in check too. So tons of tons of compliance and rules and regs out there. Like you see it in healthcare, you see it in financial services, you see it in manufacturing, anybody that touches the government sector. Those are all getting pushed down, by the Boeings of the world, the General Dynamics, the Lockheed Martins. Thousands of smaller companies support those huge behemoths.
Hmm.
So we see that that's getting pushed down to lower and lower levels, medium market size businesses all the time. So good to
Cool.
know and
Yeah.
make sure it's in there.
Great to
So
know. Thank you. And the fifth one is knowing the provider account manager.
yeah, and that's really going to help you understand, what's included, what's not included, and in the event you need to have a change request or adjust the contract or just ask questions, having that account manager, that account contact, who's your go-to person in that organization
Hmm.
is key. Sometimes just knowing who to call and ask for help is just having that phone number or that email is. I mean, we built an entire channel program here at Quest, an entire partner program just based on, hey, if you need help, here's how you get in contact with us. Here's how we can help you, right? Because that just knowing who to call and when is huge. I mean, that's 90% of the battle is, hey, who can help me with this?
Yeah. Who can I
Um,
talk to? Who
who
can I just get
who
some
who do I
information?
exactly? Yeah, it's just and it's amazing. Billion-dollar companies right now, it's sometimes impossible just to get somebody on the phone.
Hmm.
Um, so having that point of contact is critical.
Great.
So, yeah.
Anything? I know we're a little over a half an hour, so don't want to keep it too long. Is there anything else regarding contracts or SLAs you kind of want to just get out there, let people know about?
No, no, just they're all different types of them. Not saying any are right or wrong, but we've been doing it a long time. We've seen them. We try to keep them relatively simple and streamlined. And if you ever have any questions about it, or you want to ask us, if for government compliance, or just, hey, does this pass the sniff test? Um, Let us know. Happy to take a look at it or work with you on those agreements.
It
So
feels like a lot of it. I mean, not to like distill it into two sentences, but I feel like a lot of it comes down to, hey, don't make assumptions, look at the document, and there are no stupid questions. So if you're wondering about something, if you're wondering it's in there, ask it and figure it out.
yeah, there are definitely no stupid questions. And it's the same assumptions are always a dangerous place to be, right? So if you don't know and you're not clear on something, ask a question. It was funny. I had a partner the other day who apologized on a call for asking. It was an uncomfortable question. It was like, hey, so this part of the service didn't work out so great. What are we doing to address it? And he apologized after. I was like, hey, sorry, I didn't mean to throw you under the bus. I'm like, no, no, that was great. Like
Hmm.
you let us know, hey, this part of, we were doing 27 things, and hey, this one nugget right here, it didn't go so well.
Mm.
So what are we doing about that? That's that's great. That's how you actually figure. It's better to know up front. It's better to ask the uncomfortable question, and see how you're doing, and do that with contracts. That's totally okay.
Nice,
So
perfect. And also, I will make sure to include the link to the blog post in the description. So if you're looking for that, it'll be in the description. Also, we mentioned some other websites as well. We'll put those in the description for this. So, Adam, super important, so very important. What are you watching? What's worth watching on Netflix or podcasts or anything?
I'll tell you what's not worth watching.
Good to know.
Do not watch Warren Stories. Horrible on Netflix. Worn Stories. It's about clothes that people wear. It was the dumbest documentary I've ever seen in my life. It was horrible. It was trending on Netflix. So I clicked on it.
Mhm.
The first 20 minutes was about a nudist colony in Florida. Don't watch it. Don't watch it. Not appealing. Not good. 100%, 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
So the first episode on Worn Stories are about people who are wearing nothing.
Yeah, and it's not blurred. All right? It's not blurred. It's
Oh,
not edited.
okay.
It's not edited, and they're all retired. It's not good. Okay, it's
Well,
just don't go there.
put that be put that behind a paywall and OnlyFans account. All right. Hot tip, Adam. Thank you very much. I would say a couple things that are worth checking out is Atlas Obscura, which is a really great website to find cool, like unique places in the world. They have a
Huh.
really great podcast, which is just 10 minutes every day about like a different location. It is fantastic. And I am
Awesome.
really, really digging that. And also over on HBO, I am catching up and watching Perry Mason, which is a
Hmm.
new series. I don't know if you've seen it, Adam, but so good. So good. Love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got a good podcast I'm listening to right now. It's another one of Jocko's, but it's called The Thread.
Okay.
He does historic like different trends throughout history, and he has this dude on there who kind of walks through things with him. It's called The Thread, and I'm sorry. Oh, that's horrible. It's not called The Thread
It's
at
not.
all. No, I totally blew that. I
Well,
totally
I
blew
thought
that.
it nicely ties into the Worn Clothes documentary you mentioned, The Thread. Is
No,
it called
not The Thread.
Jocko Yells at Stuff?
No, it's not called Jocko Yells at Stuff, but
Is it
that
called
should be a
is it called Me Strong? And I can tell you how to be strong too with Jocko?
no, no, it's called The Unraveling.
Ah,
It's called The Unraveling,
which
and
often
it's really
involves a
cool.
thread. I see what you did.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. It's very good, and
Cool.
it's got some good history on it, and it's some good nuggets. So I would check that out if I'm being positive rather than negative about the horrible thing on Netflix that I will never ever watch again. I would check out the Unraveling podcast. It's very, very cool.
So if you want to think, I can't get my time back, what am I doing with my life? Watch The Worn. If you want to be like, what a great experience, I feel enriched, watch The Thread, also known as The Unraveling with Jocko. Good to
Yes,
know. Good to know.
yes, yeah.
Hot
We'll
tips.
link to we'll link to one of those in the comments.
We're gonna have a
Yeah.
billion links in the description and comments.
Yes.
So this was
A lot of
fun.
links.
Adam,
Yep.
anything else? This has been fun.
Nope. That's it for today. That is it for today, my friends. Everybody stay safe out there. Good luck.
We'll see you
And
next week.
all well wishes to cookies or sprinkles or butternut squash. What's his name?
I can't
Something.
even, Adam. I can't even. It's
Have a
cooking.
good one.